Greetings friends and fellow aliens, and thank you for tuning into this video where I want to talk about some author stuff and some writing stuff, and in particular, beta readers. And what the hell is a beta reader? So listen, it takes a lot to put a book together. This one is mine, The Caretaker. It's available on Amazon. All the links are in the description in the first comment. And when you're putting a book together, there's a whole bunch of different steps that you kind of go through. Now, obviously, you have to write the words. You have to have the story. And when all of that kind of stuff goes into place and you start putting everything together and you've got the story shaped and then you go through your edits, there's a very important step right after that where you want to get your work in front of people that you trust and that you trust to give you honest feedback. Why is this important, you say? Well, here's the thing. As a creator, be it an author or artist or whatever else, a lot of times that entire story is just so stuck in your own head and you're not seeing it from a perspective of a person that's going to be out there perhaps buying your work and reading your story. So it's important to get into those shoes, but you're too close to your own work to do that in a way that really allows you to see it for what it is, right? You're so into the story and into the characters' heads and the setting and the scene that a lot of times you just miss big parts of the story or perhaps inconsistencies within the story. And that makes it really difficult because then you're like, okay, this is great, and you're going to throw it out and you're going to publish it and you're going to throw it online, and then all of a sudden you've got a reader who's giving you a crappy review who's saying this doesn't make any sense and this would never happen because you said in one scene that this character is doing one thing and there's a continuity error because he's now doing this. So beta readers are critical. What a beta reader is just that trusted person within your circle. You can be like, listen, I've got some words. I want to send them to you. You get to read this story as I'm forming it in my own head and tell me what you think. Now, this is pretty cool for me because right now I just sent part of my story to somebody who I very, very deeply trust to give me honest feedback about what it is. I'm getting ready to send this out to my beta readers, but there's one in particular that I like to send it to first, just to say like, hey, am I on the right track here? Because I'm not really sure. So I'm writing the sequel to The Caretaker, right? And the book is going to be called The Steward, though I realize that it should probably be called Trigger Warning because I'm getting into all sorts of stuff about trauma and unhealthy coping in the second book. So as William's story continues, I started this one off in a very different way than the tone of the first book. And I'm just really uncertain about that tone and about how it's going to be received. So I'm like, all right, I did a real cursory edit of the book because it's still a rough draft, right? So I went through and I just kind of did some cleanup, some grammatical cleanup and whatnot, moved a little bit, cut a little bit, but not too much because I wanted to be most of my word dump in the first 10,000 or so words, and then sent it to a friend of mine to say, all right, I need that honest feedback. You know how I am, how I work, what I'm trying to do, and the style that I go for. What are your impressions? And that's what beta readers are for. And they're just a critical step. If you're trying to write, if you're trying to publish a book, if you want to be an author, this is not something that you should skip. This is different from a critique partner. A critique partner is somebody that you kind of hang with and you're like, here's my work and here's my work. And then you just kind of tear it to shreds and you're both like, hey, that's great. Let's have a drink and, so on and so forth. But a beta reader is looking at it from the perspective of your audience reading the book, but they're on the inside. They're within that inner circle. I have a few beta readers. I don't have many that I get in touch with, but I have some people that are just really, really kind and are willing to read the words and provide that kind of feedback for me. And it's really nice. But here's the thing. What do you do with the feedback? So when I send it to one person, I don't want to make changes in the book depending on what that one person has said. I want to kind of aggregate the feedback that I get. So if I send my work out, or the first, let's say 4 or 5 chapters out to 5 different people, I basically weigh that feedback. If 4 out of the 5 are telling me, hey, this passage here doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, or I'm struggling to understand what you're doing here, then I know that that's a part that I probably need to tweak a little bit. If 4 out of the 5 are coming back and they're saying, oh my gosh, this part of what you wrote was like amazing, there was like a lot of impact and I was so totally drawn in, then I'm like, all right, now this helps me to set that tone for the rest of the work moving forward, to kind of alter and change. I send my work to beta readers usually when I am twice as far as the work that I'm sending. So if I'm at about 20,000 words, I'll send the first 10,000 words out to beta readers, because I don't want to finish the work and send it out, because then if a whole bunch of people are like, wow, chapter 2 sucks, and chapter 2 to me was like integral in shaping the entire story, now I've got to do a ton of rewriting in order to get the work going well. So usually I send it out the same way I edit my work. I write down, I'll put down about 15,000 words, and then I do a first pass edit on the 10,000, and then I'll write 5,000 more, 10,000 more words, and then I'll do another edit on the next 5,000 or 10,000. So I kind of do it in stages like that. It just helps me and my brain to be able to organize a story in the right way. So to wrap this all up, if you are an author, you are a writer, do not miss this critical step. Find some of those people that you trust. I do not recommend using family members. I'm just saying. They're too close. They're too close to you to do that. But friends and acquaintances and stuff like that really understand you and understand how your brain works and how your art works, that's very, very important. So find a few of them, and as you're writing, get those words out when you're comfortable getting them out. That's why I always do the first pass edit. I think you'll find that if you can get a nice group going of beta readers, and these are people that you want to treat well, you send the free books to, you take care of them and all those kinds of things, because honestly, like they are precious. They're taking their time, their personal time away to read your words, and that's worth a lot to an author, because that's something a lot of times we struggle with. So take care of your beta readers and really lean on them. And like I said, aggregate that feedback. So it's a majority rule on feedback. At least that's the way I operate with them, to determine how to shape the story. So thank you. I really hope this helped. Keep writing those words down. I'm going to keep doing the same thing, and let's publish a bunch of crap together. I'll see you soon.